The biggest threat to modern civilization isn't war. It isn't famine. And it isn't climate change. It is something far quieter. A silent mathematical collapse happening right before our eyes, yet completely ignored by the mainstream media. For the first time in centuries, the global engine is running out of its most critical, irreplaceable resource: human beings. Our entire modern financial system, our pension networks, and our corporate structures were built on a single, fragile assumption: the assumption of infinite population growth. We designed a world that requires tomorrow to always have more consumers, more taxpayers, and more workers than today. We built a planetary matrix that penalizes standing still and treats structural contraction as a death sentence. But what happens when that foundational pillar permanently disappears? Welcome to the demographic bomb. To understand how we trapped ourselves in this existential bottleneck, we have to look back at the historical code of human survival. For most of human history, having children was the ultimate economic necessity. On an agricultural plot, a child was a direct asset. Larger families meant more physical hands to till the soil, harvest the crops, protect the land, and eventually sustain the parents when age took its toll. In an agrarian economy, a large household was the only real insurance policy against poverty. But as the Industrial Revolution gained traction, the systemic incentives changed forever. The invention of machinery and mass production pulled millions of families away from fields and pushed them into dense, urban factories. Over the next 2 centuries, the global economy transitioned from farming to services, technology, and knowledge. We educated our population, opened up massive corporate career paths, and completely altered the structural framework of the modern family. And right there, hidden inside our progress, lay the ultimate paradox of modern capitalism. As a society gets wealthier, more educated, and more technologically sophisticated, its birth rates collapse. In a hyper-connected modern metropolis, the old economic equation did not just change. It flipped completely upside down. A child is no longer an economic asset that brings resources into the home. A child is now a massive long-term financial liability. The skyrocketing opportunity cost of real estate, rapid career progression, and advanced education has made the price of expanding a family prohibitively high for the middle class. To buy an apartment with just 1 extra bedroom in New York, London, or Tokyo requires a lifetime of compounding debt and massive sacrifices. The cost of basic childcare, healthcare, and baseline education now strains even dual-income corporate households that supposedly rank in the top percentages of earners. Humanity did not collectively sit down in a room and decide to stop reproducing. The structural matrix of our economy simply made having children an irrational financial decision for the individual. The market system itself is quietly, efficiently sterilizing its own population through relentless financial pressure and real estate inflation. If you want to see the terrifying blueprint of where the entire world is heading, you must observe East Asia. This is ground zero for the demographic winter. South Korea currently holds a metric that should terrify every single central banker and sociologist on the planet. a total fertility rate of 0.72. To comprehend the mathematical gravity of that number, remember the baseline rules of demographic physics. A nation requires a consistent rate of 2.1 children per woman just to keep its population stable. At 0.72, South Korea is not just shrinking. Its total population is projected to cut in half within a single generation. This is not a manageable, soft landing. It is a high-speed societal liquidation. Next door, Japan has already breached the acute phase of this exact systemic breakdown. For over a decade, a dark, unsettling statistic has dominated the country's consumer markets. Japan now sells far more adult diapers than baby diapers. Every year, hundreds of public schools are shut down permanently because there are literally no children left to fill the corridors. Vast rural expanses are transforming into ghost towns, populated entirely by isolated citizens over the age of 75. The vital infrastructure that keeps a modern country functioning, from municipal maintenance to basic emergency medicine, is beginning to fracture. There are simply not enough active bodies left to turn the valves, run the grids, or staff the local clinics. And make no mistake, this is not an isolated Asian cultural anomaly. It is an industrial virus that is moving westward, creeping into Italy, Germany, Spain, and the core of the Americas. To fully realize why a declining population leads to total economic ruin, we must expose the hidden Ponzi scheme that funds the modern state. It is called the pay-as-you-go pension system. Most ordinary citizens live under the comforting illusion that their retirement contributions are safely stored away in a personalized, asset-backed government vault. They are completely wrong. The payroll taxes extracted from your paycheck today do not go into a savings account. They are immediately processed and spent to pay off the pensions of the people who are retired right now. The mathematics of this entire global construct only functions if the base of the workforce pyramid remains significantly wider than the top. It requires a massive influx of young taxpayers to support a smaller group of retirees. But today, the base is shrinking at an unprecedented rate, while the top of the pyramid is exploding in volume due to extended lifespans. In the coming decades, a smaller, exhausted pool of young workers will be legally forced by the state to carry the crushing financial weight of a massive elderly dependency class. This severe systemic imbalance triggers a dangerous economic doom loop. Governments will have to raise income taxes on the younger generation to desperate levels, which will further destroy their ability to buy houses or start families of their own. Simultaneously, public health care budgets will be completely devoured by the skyrocketing costs of age-related chronic care. No civilization in human history has ever figured out how to generate sustainable economic growth with an evaporating workforce and a collapsing domestic consumer market. Capitalism, in its core DNA, requires consumers. It needs people to buy cars, rent properties, sign up for services, and purchase consumer goods. When your customer base falls into a demographic black hole, corporate revenues stall, stock markets stagnate, debt to GDP ratios shoot into orbit, and the entire system locks up. So, what is the ultimate endgame for a civilization that has forgotten how to grow. As human labor systematically evaporates off the charts, the global power structure is frantically racing toward an absolute technological substitute. Artificial intelligence and advanced humanoid robotics. The global superpowers that manage to survive the demographic winter will not be the ones with the largest geographic landmasses, the most gold reserves, or the highest historical prestige. They will be the ones that succeed in fully automating their industrial, agricultural, and cognitive economies before their human tax base completely collapses. The mechanical engine of the state must keep turning, even if there are no human operators left in the room to watch it. Silicon is replacing flesh. Autonomous agents are replacing traditional taxpayers. Algorithms are replacing the middle-class minds that once ran the corporate machine. We are transitioning from a world run by human labor to a world sustained by cold, synthetic efficiency. The demographic bomb is ticking right beneath our feet, and the invisible systems governing our global reality are being violently rewritten in real time to adjust to an unpopulated world. The near future might not belong to a declining human race, but to a completely different form of synthetic mechanical intelligence. If you want to understand the hidden forces shaping our future, subscribe to PlanetariHub and see the systems controlling your world.